One, we should be live.
Bazoom.
Where I always forget where the damn button is. There we go. View on YouTube. Yeah, we're definitely 100% live.
Amazing.
Okay.
Technology is great.
I'll be the first one to like this video.
Isn't that
So,
considered a faux pas to like your own videos?
if you're big enough, then yeah, sure. But we're 20 subscribers.
Okay.
I like all my own videos. Like, I'm small time.
Mm-hmm. Oh man.
It just kind of helps boost you up in the algorithm, you know?
Does it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
So, I know you had some words about this that weren't like terrible. You were just kind of like, yeah, it's not going to pass.
Oh, yeah. So the a lot of things become law, or I mean, for everything that you see become law in California, there's like 100 things that like they were talking about making a law that didn't happen. And I have two types of laws I like in California at this point. I got laws that I agree with, and I have laws that are so stupid that they're going to implode on any kind of a court challenge. And so, in the case of California obliging a corporation to construct its board of directors in such a manner on the basis of sexual orientation or race, that is blatantly illegal. So I don't care because they basically just wasted their own time.
Yeah.
That's not going to survive a court challenge. So I'm happy for them to do that. They get to feel good. They're like, oh, look at that, I virtue signaled. Isn't that nice? and then the Ninth Circuit Court, which I mean is the much maligned Ninth Circuit. Keep in mind, they're basically like the ones that have to keep listening to this crap. Can you imagine just being the Supreme Court, or sorry, the Court of Appeals, or whatever, for the federal court that has to listen to California all the time, every day? You're just in the room with California all the time.
I think I would just get into the habit of being like, no, no, no,
yeah,
no, no.
well, yeah, but it's hard. So there's actually a big problem with the Ninth Circuit Court because the Ninth Circuit Court is way too large. Most of the other courts represent a much smaller number of people, and the Ninth Circuit is dealing with most of like the Western United States. And so there's a lot of talk about splitting up that thing, but then everyone is like, it's already pretty fucking cringy, and it's like California and everybody else over here. But if we split this up, then one of us is going to be stuck with California all by herself. No, you think I'm kidding? This is actually the argument. And so they're like, okay, so how do we avoid this? Because imagine being Nevada and California, right? So then Nevada is just continuously, there's just two states in there. It's California and Nevada all the time. And Nevada's like, ugh, no. Because sometimes Nevada's like, Arizona, can you help with this? Oregon, please, somebody. So yeah, there's a lot of I think probably the only way to deal with it at this point would be to just say, and the new and California gets its own federal court. I think that's I mean, it's fair to the extent that California probably should be turned into like 3 states anyway.
It really should, yeah.
And that, you know, like, I don't know, if you split it into 3 states and then just say, okay, you kids get this court, that's fine. Or until then, whatever, California, you have this, because otherwise they can't split it, and it causes all kinds of problems for the other the other Western states. They have to go to San Francisco every single time there's a problem. That's where the court is, by the way. So yeah.
Well, that would explain why they have to go there for it.
Well, it's where they put it at one point, and the government just kind of likes to leave things in places.
So when I did bring this article up to you, though, you
Mhm.
said pretty much the same thing as what you said at the beginning of this, and then I
Yeah.
brought up the fact that they are, in fact, trying to repeal affirmative action.
Yeah.
So that doesn't make this completely out of the realm of possibility, but yeah, no, I'd have to agree with you. It more than likely is not ever going to pass.
Well, that's a different situation. So the thing with affirmative action, that's not quite a federal law. That's more a state law in the state of California. And so the state of California has been caught racially biasing their acceptances of university applications, particularly against either white people, but mostly Asians. Actually, mostly just because there's a shitload of Asians in the California university system, and
As you would
so
expect in pretty much any university system because of their culture.
well, particularly California, because we're a Western state, so we've had more immigration from Japan, China, Vietnam, whatever, over the years than really any other state. And we've got older communities for all those ethnic groups in California than most other places in the country. And then of course we're just still more convenient. So like for example, if you wanted to send your kid to an American school, and you're an Asian you're in Japan, you're in China, whatever. University of California is a little closer than other places. It's also it's a very good university, generally speaking.
Yeah, I mean,
so
I'm
it's
pretty
got a lot
sure
of things going for it.
if you're going to Japan from New York, you typically go have a layover in California, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Yep,
it makes
usually.
sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's a law in California that you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed uh, to racially bias anything. It's supposed to be on the basis of something that's not racial. So they've been caught doing it. They want to keep doing it, and so they're trying to repeal the law, and that would then make it so there's no Californian law that says you can't do that. Although the Ivy Leagues are getting sued by the federal government currently, right now on the East Coast for doing the same thing, doing the
Yeah,
exact same thing.
for being biased against whites and Asians.
Yeah, and it's so that applies to California naturally as much as it applies to them. So even if they repeal affirmative action, which is going to be a complete fucking shit show in California, I don't think it'll be repealed, but it's possible. But even if they do, it is going to create a complete shit show with the federal government, because it's arguably a violation of federal law as well. So we'll see what happens. It's all kinds of good decisions.
So you know what isn't based on race? The border wall.
Oh.
And one thing that they like the left Democrats that people who suffer from TDS like to spout off is, oh well, he hasn't built a new wall. He just replaced miles of wall that was already there.
Yeah, the bollard fencing and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, this video kind of explains it. Since it's 3 minutes, I don't think I'm gonna go through it. But yeah, as you can see, that's the new wall. Let's see if I can get a snapshot of what is being replaced exactly.
Right.
This right here. That's it. It's like waist high. It's intended to stop vehicles.
Yeah, but I mean, how could you possibly get across there if you? I mean, I'm a transformer, right? I make that little Autobot sound.
Mm-hmm.
How can I possibly get across that the bollard or I don't know what it looks like a tank trap or something.
I mean, it's essentially what it is. Actually, I think a tank would go through that.
Probably, but not a Honda Civic.
No, it wouldn't. I mean, you could do a couple, like a hike through the desert, like get to one of the border cities by vehicle, and then just go hike through the desert and come across this.
Here's the big problem with the argument that Trump isn't doing stuff with the wall. Let's, for the sake of argument, say that he didn't. Well, is that because he broke his word? Or would that be because somebody stopped him? Because the interference with his rollout of the wall and various other policies he's had has been incredible. And if you tell somebody that they're being dishonest, that suggests intent. So for example, if I said I'll be there tomorrow at 8 a.m., right? And at 6 a.m., somebody kicks my door down and puts a gun against my head, ties me up. Am I breaking my word? Not really.
Technically, but no, that's 100% excusable at that point.
Because there's no intent.
Mm-hmm.
If you intended to do it, but you were prevented by some sort of external agency, then there's no deception there. And to the extent something doesn't happen in that case, it falls upon whatever force stopped you from doing things. So even if he hadn't built these walls, it still wouldn't necessarily be deception on his part. Now, the fact that he has been able to build as much as he has, despite all of that, that is frankly impressive. We've been watching this guy walk across fucking coals for fucking 4 years to build what he's built. And look, people can agree or disagree as to whether we should build a wall, what a wall costs. That's fine. It's a free country. You have your opinions. But the man's been fucking trying. I don't think there's any argument that he hasn't. And he's not the one who's been throwing up roadblocks to prevent that. It's been a whole bunch of activist judges. It's been a whole bunch of power plays coming out of the House and the Senate where they try and interfere with the funding or say, oh, you're not allowed to do this or that, and it's craziness. So for them to then come in and say, oh, he's a liar, he didn't build it, it's like, dude, you can't have it both ways. You can't shut something down and then say that the other guy is a bad guy because he didn't do the shit that you shut down.
Yeah. And on top of that, like one thing that's been driving me crazy is before Trump started talking about the wall, absolutely no one was against securing our borders. Well, I mean major politics wise.
In like really flaccid principle where they weren't going to actually do anything. By the way, hello, Metal Murderer. How you doing?
Hi, Metal.
No, because this lip service has been played to this for a while. But when anybody ever started to try and put some meat on those policies, suddenly then there was a lot of hemming and hawing. So that's what's different about Trump is Trump seems to actually be wanting to do it.
On top of that, the people have also never really called securing our borders racist before that I'm aware of.
Oh, you can't.
Yeah, I'm keeping this image up because I think it's a really good example of like you see the new wall right next to the old wall.
Well, right. So, okay. So if it's racist for the United States to police its border and control immigration, then by the same token, it would be racist for any other country to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So that would then mean it's racist for Mexicans to police the Mexican border. Now, no one's going to argue that.
Yeah. Metal says Bill Clinton tried to secure the borders and people loved him for it.
I don't know. Did he?
I didn't pay attention.
I'm not casting shade. I'm literally asking. Like, what did he actually do? I don't remember Bill Clinton doing something, but my memory is not perfect.
Yeah.
I don't.
And I personally didn't pay attention to politics back then. I, for the longest time, still thought that all Clinton did wrong was got a blowjob in the Oval Office and lie about it. And as we both know, that's very clearly not all he did wrong.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So Bill Clinton was talking about building a wall.
Maybe that's where that old, vehicle wall came from.
Maybe. California used to be very into controlling the border. You have to go back some decades for that. The Californian border wall is relatively old. It's been there for a long time. For funsies, you can look at the border, the Mexican border around Tijuana, because you see Mexico goes straight up to like the fucking inch of the U.S. border.
Yeah,
and then on the other side of the wall, it's just nothing for the United States. And what that tells you is one country wants to be in another country, and the other country does not want to be in the other country. It's like the Canadians. It's like and you could argue with the Canadians. It's partially a climate thing, but 99% of the Canadian population lives within like 200, 300 miles of the U.S. border. It's something like that. It's like clustered right up against the U.S. border. But a lot of it is economic as well. So, there's a huge amount of trade and commerce, is flowing back and forth across, between the U.S. border and both Canada and Mexico. And
they're an excellent country to go to for hunting and fishing too. Well, fishing at least.
Yeah.
Because they've got all the wildlands, First article link was too long to post. He said,
I'm happy to give Bill Clinton that. That's fine.
I mean, he definitely gets too much credit for the economy at the time when it was really internet trade that did it.
Well, it was also Newt Gingrich. Everyone's forgotten Newt Gingrich. Newt Gingrich was a fucking madman, and in ways which were good and bad, in very depending on what he was doing. But Gingrich was running the American House of Representatives during the Clinton administration, and so a lot of the things that Bill Clinton is credited with, for example, balancing the budget and stuff like that. Well, you know how the president of the United States has the power to make the budget of the United States of America? Oh wait, no, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
No, that's not his job. Congress has that power, and so to the extent that the budget will be balanced, it has more to do with who controls Congress than it does who controls the White House. White House, you can, I don't know, declare a police action war on your least favorite country whenever you want. But you can do your executive act orders. There's a variety of things you can do, but making the budget is not one of them. There are some hilarious power plays on the budget in U.S. history. God, I believe it was Teddy Roosevelt. He got this fleet together to do this tour around the world to show the world American naval power back in, consider how long ago this was. And Congress said, no, this is expensive. You want us to, we got these ships and we're going to have to pay for all this fuel. We're going to have to pay for this food. We have to pay the port facilities. There's all these extra fees you got to pay for the sailors because they're not going to see their families for a while, and this whole crazy thing. This is expensive. Why are we doing this? And so Teddy's like, so you're not going to give me the money to go around the world? And they're like, no. He's like, well, I've just noticed in the budget that I've got about enough money to get them about halfway around the world, and then you're going to have to give me the money to get the fleet back. so Teddy sets sail with the fucking fleet. It goes halfway around the world, and then Congress is up against a barrel on this one. It's like, okay, so you're either gonna give Teddy the fucking money, or all these ships and all these sailors on the opposite side of the world can't come home. And so Congress is like, okay, fine, fucking checkmate, Jesus Christ. And so they gave him the money. He came, but these are the little power games that go on between Congress and presidents. It's frequently funny.
So speaking of the budget, a liberal Rochester mayor defunded the police, and she is being indicted on first-degree violation of election law.
Oh my.
Of an investigation that has had much speculation over the years. We are here today to be transparent and upfront with the people of Monroe County. We are not here to conduct a trial in the media, and we are not here to comment on evidence. We are here to announce that earlier today, a Monroe County grand jury handed up an indictment against Lovely A. Warren, Albert Jones Jr., and Rosalind Burks Harris. We are here this afternoon to update the community on the conclusion of an investigation that has had much speculation over the years. We are here today to be transparent and upfront with the people of Monroe County. We are not here to conduct a trial in the media, and we are not here to comment on evidence. We are here to announce that earlier today,
I think this looped.
Monroe County grand jury
You think?
handed up.
Yeah, because I've heard this before.
That was like a perfect loop. I was like, wow, this is the longest 37 seconds I can ever remember.
Yeah, okay, so Metal, what she was saying was that there was some sort of a violation of election law, and a grand jury is indicting the politician. Yeah, I hate that. I hate that they loop. I don't like that.
It's Twitter. What do you expect?
Oh, I don't. Stop.
Yeah, I know. I agree. It's annoying. Twitter does not have the best thing. So, yeah. Speaking of politicians having all sorts of issues, here's someone who's riding with Biden.
Yeah, he's right here. Yeah, should have known this was going to happen.
State rep candidate Matt Trowbridge. I believe he was a Biden staffer,
you made the wrong decision. You made the wrong, and now you want to run. I'm going to get your plates. You want to run from this now. You can call him. Thank you. That's awesome. I have all the chat logs. I have everything. Please call him. Thank you so much. Thank you for calling him on yourself. Disgusting ass, bro. Look at him, guys. He looks shocked. Exactly. Shocked not to see a 14-year-old, right? Screen record everything. Everything. I'm not a cop. You're not being detained. I do have some questions for you. I want to know why you were here today, and why do you think it's okay to meet a 14-year-old minor off the internet? Why do you think it's okay? You want to just sit here and not say nothing, huh? Yeah. Just know you were going to come here and destroy a kid's life. You literally came, left work. Look at him, guys, in his work. Came here to meet a kid, a 14-year-old.
I don't blame you, Johnny Depp. Yeah, so you get the gist of it there. This is the conversation that was going on between this state representative and what he thought was a 14-year-old boy. Yeah, you guys can go ahead and read that on your own. I don't feel like reading it out loud.
I mean, damn, I'm so fucking horny, apparently, for a 14-year-old. Oh, my.
Yeah.
Oof.
And there's that worship my balls thing the guy was saying before I stopped the clip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, pedophiles. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's 2020. Minor attracted person. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're not calling them maps here.
You can call them.
Fucking pedos.
You can call them maps. You know, the thing that I always find funny when people start playing the definition game is it in no sense causes people to think about it differently. So, for example, if you've got a person who is mentally handicapped, and we decide to call them special, that doesn't
It's still the
suddenly
same
make
thing.
us not think that they're not retarded. So it doesn't accomplish anything. I'm happy to let them have their little Orwellian doublespeak. Because as Shakespeare said, a rose by any other name, right? It doesn't matter. You can redefine anything. It's something. These are just animal noises. I am a monkey chittering into this telecommunications wonder here, under some delusion that what's coming out of my mouth has some meaning. But if you start changing what my chitters mean to something else, then we're going to just start reassessing what everything means, because what we're actually trying to do is we're trying to express meaning. So if they change the word, it doesn't change the meaning. You know, we could call you could call a piece of shit a brownie. But if I start doing that with any frequency and I say, hey, you want a brownie? You're like, no, that's gross.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Right.
I know I've actually had, within the past month, actually, like 30 days, not October, I've had at least 2 arguments with people who are into lolly, LOLI. And they keep saying, oh, I'm not a pedophile. I'm like, you are attracted to the form of a little girl.
Here's
like the definition of pedo.
No, it's better than that. It's better than that. Okay, so actually in Japanese, lolly means pedophile.
I'll have to remember that.
Yeah, do remember that. So like, for example, if you go to a Japanese person and say, I like lolicon, I'm not a pedophile, they'd be like,
get away from me, pedo.
You literally said you like the pedophilic material. That's what it means.
I'm definitely gonna have to remember that one. Yeah, that is one of their big arguments, Metal. It's like, well, it's not a little girl, it's a 9-century-old vampire.
Okay, so are you familiar
with the form of a little girl?
Are you familiar with the Filthy Frank weeaboo video?
No.
Oh, it's hilarious.
I haven't watched a lot of Filthy Frank.
Filthy Frank, it's got some videos that are worth watching and some that are not. But the weeaboo video in particular is pretty good. And where he explains to weeaboos the problem with what they're doing. One of the things with Filthy Frank is he does speak fluent Japanese.
Is it a song?
No, it shouldn't be.
Oh, because he's got Filthy Frank weeaboo song.
Shouldn't be a song. I can get the link if you actually want me to get it.
I mean, it'd be something to check out later. Oh wait, it's like 11.5 minutes long.
It might be that. That sounds about right. And in any case, in the middle of that somewhere, he's talking about lolicon and stuff like that, and he's pointing out that that it is borderline pedophilia.
Borderline?
Well, I will grant you 2 things with lolicon. One, it is literally not a child. It is literally drawings. So you're not actually, going after a kid. You're going after a cartoon. The second thing, which you can possibly give the people as well, is the way that they draw those things sometimes is not what they kind of just draw like short women sometimes, because they'll have like giant like G-cup tits, and it's like, I'm sorry, you're not 12 if you got the G-cup boobs. So
I mean, that's different right there.
Well, yeah, but that'll happen sometimes with that. So you don't know. I don't care. I don't care. So long as you leave the kids alone, I really don't give a fuck.
Yeah, that's my statement too.
Really.
I also, the way I describe it whenever I had those arguments with those people who were into lolly was, You're a pedophile, but you don't deserve the blood eagle. Like, I don't think you deserve to be executed in a horrible way just because you're attracted to a drawing of a little girl. Just don't touch actual little girls.
Oh, what I've been doing is I've been saying, well, maybe you're just a minor attracted person. and it the thing is that sounds like a concession, but
it's really not.
It's really not, because the instant you start using that, it literally just means pedophile again. So it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek way of giving somebody something that isn't really worth anything.
So in other news, wrong one. Facebook bans QAnon entirely. Says previous crackdown wasn't enough. So I don't understand the hate with QAnon. I really don't.
Oh, really?
They're a conspiracy theorist. Correct me if I'm wrong. They're a conspiracy theorist group that think that the elite. They're a group of elite pedophile lizard people that run the world, and Donald Trump is the savior who's going to stop them.
Maybe.
But they don't attack anyone, and they just call out pedos.
Well, there have been some things. So, for example, there was the Comet ping pong incident.
I had not heard of that.
Oh my God. Comet ping pong and pizza? Yeah. So, David Podesta.
Like, is that Pizzagate?
Yeah. David Podesta's brother or whatever, I think he owns a pizza parlor called Comet Ping Pong, and this really fucking weird, cringy video came out where there was some band that was playing in the pizza parlor that was just fucking odd, and then at the same time there's a whole bunch of weird revelations that came out with spirit cooking, and the Podestas are themselves weird. I don't know if they're pedophiles, but they are legitimately strange people. And so all of it together just created this perfect kind of creepy stew that made it look like it was like a cult or something. Oh, did I lose Uni?
No, I'm here.
Well, your video was doing a little spirally thing.
Oh, that's weird. I wasn't really paying attention to my video. I'm listening and trying to get this damn hangnail at the same time.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, just make sure.
Yeah, I've never actually looked into the Pizzagate. Again, I didn't pay attention to politics back then.
Yeah, it's fine. Anyway, so the QAnon guys, they're really hyper obsessed, particularly with the Clintons. They're really obsessed with Bohemian Grove. I mean, as is, of course, is Alex Jones, and I think Alex is he still kicked off YouTube?
Yeah, I believe so.
Right.
He's kicked off like everything.
Is he kicked off Facebook too?
I also believe, yeah, he definitely is. The last time I checked, he was one of the people that Facebook said you were not allowed to mention him unless you were talking negatively about him or about causing physical harm to him.
Wow.
Yeah, well, they didn't keep that for that long.
Yeah. So QAnon is kind of like open source Alex Jones. It's just a whole bunch of people running around making kind of Alex Jones-esque comments about things. And Alex Jones in particular, he's got a political bias. He particularly doesn't like the Democrats. And
can't blame him.
I mean, I've got my political biases as well, of course, but a lot of the tech companies are run out of very progressive places and run by very progressive people, and I think it's fair to say that they think that it is legitimate to censor people that strongly conflict with their views. Indifferent to whether or not there's any threats of violence, indifferent to whether or not there's any kind of demonstrable social harm, indifferent to whether it's illegal. Just simply disagreeing with them is cause to censor people, I believe, at this point. Now, they've had that opinion for a long time. They've had a hard time manifesting
implementing
that opinion.
it. Yeah.
And so as they get more power, they're more able to express themselves more legitimately, and so that is how they feel, from what I can tell.
So just because QAnon is like Alex Jones, Facebook and them are like, nope, we're not allowing that.
Right. So, I mean, one of the things they're claiming is that they're kicking out QAnon because they're conspiracy theorists. The problem with that is they're not doing that to other conspiracy theorists. They're specifically doing it to them.
You mean like Russia Gators?
Sure. Or the 9/11 truth people. That's fine. You know, people that said that the U.S. government, in particular the George Bush administration, intentionally killed 3,000 Americans to boost his poll numbers. That's the allegation. Or to justify an invasion of the Middle East, which would then allow the United States to seize oil interests there. None of which occurred, by the way. You know, like the United States did not get any oil out of the Middle East by doing that. Saddam Hussein was very happy to sell us his oil at a pretty cheap price. So if it was about oil, I mean, we would have just bought our oil from Saddam Hussein. I mean, it wasn't expensive. But no, they've been tolerating and are still tolerating conspiracy theories and theorists all the time. So there's no consistency in that, and it goes back into something I guess we were talking about last time with the Section 230 immunity, and the fact that these organizations are ultimately curating the community, curating the content in a manner that crosses the line, and you keep timing out. Is that
you actually had a bit of like breakup? You had a little bit of breakup.
Oh, okay. Well, it's me.
It seems fine for me so far.
I'm gonna do an internet thing here on the theory it's me.
Okay. So while he's doing the internet thing, see, I never really understood how they could even use the thing where they try to say QAnon is bad to the point that it needs banned, but then they don't ban Antifa, who is actually causing violence, who's actually he's back already. Hello.
Zinga.
Yeah, I was just saying while you were gone, the thing that doesn't make sense to me is how they can crack down on QAnon. But they don't crack down on Antifa, who was actually going out, committing violence, doxing people, threatening violence, and planning violence on these platforms. Also, conspiracy theories.
Yeah, because one of the things Antifa is talking about, and this is ultimately what the critical race theory people in general are talking about, is that there is this conspiracy of either fascists or white people to oppress everybody. And okay, why don't you actually show me that? And they're like, oh, well, you know, it's difficult, and the system and stuff, and smoke bomb, and they run away.
That's usually exactly what happens.
I mean, mostly their argument is if some arbitrary group of people that I define has less shit than some other arbitrary group, then that demonstrates that the second group, whatever, is oppressing the first, or so. It's stupid. That's not how you prove anything. You don't just like draw two circles around something and then say if this circle has more shit than this other circle, then the first circle is oppressing the second. Fuck off.
Yeah. Well, you want to talk about some actual oppression? If I have a giant fucking Trump sign in my private property, the government has no right to tear it down.
No, they do.
Why?
Yeah, so this is going to fall under zoning laws, and the general notion on this. This is I wouldn't fight this one. It's like you want to pick your battles here. On this one, because everyone can see this, and this is overtly supposed to basically operate as some kind of advertising or propaganda. You could argue that this is too much. And
that's not what they're arguing, though.
They're saying it's a health and safety thing, but if you, I agree that it's not a health and safety thing, and no one thinks it's health and safety. In fact, if you took this to a court and you told the judge it was health and safety, and the judge was himself or herself not just a shill, the judge would then say, yeah, no, obviously this is not a health and safety thing. Don't lie to me, okay? And then the city of Los Angeles would then have to say, okay, well, really, we just don't like it when people put signs on the sides of hills that cars are driving by. And generally speaking, people are not allowed to do that. So
then how do you get away with billboards?
They have special zoning permission to build them. And what you're allowed to put on them, there's regulation on that. But mostly it's a zoning thing. So for example, if you have a piece of property, you can't just build a billboard on it. You have to tell the city of Los Angeles, I have a piece of property and I would like to build a billboard on it. And then the city of Los Angeles then says, okay, well, in this area, you are allowed or not allowed to build a billboard. And on that basis, I'm going to let you have one. So, for example, if you are in a residential area where it's just houses, and you say, I would like to build a billboard on my property, they're going to pretty much guaranteed say no. And it doesn't matter what you do with it. It doesn't matter. They're just going to say no. If it's on a commercial thoroughfare where it's not houses and stuff, but it's like businesses, they'll probably say yes. They'd probably say yes in that case.
So if this guy would have gone, or lady, I don't know who owns it,
Right.
would have gone to the court and been like, hey, I want to put a billboard up here, they would have probably been like, yeah, that's fine.
Until
they found out what it was.
Understand, I am explaining how to swim in the ocean. I am a fish from California, and I'm just telling you how this works. If you want to do things, this is why we're so fucking litigious about things. Mm-hmm. Understand how the fucking law works. Fill out all the paperwork. Do it triplicate. Make sure it goes to all the various little places. Get a lawyer if that's necessary. At a certain point, you're not going to need one for a lot of things because you'll just know. And if you've got everything lined up, click, 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 generally speaking, they can't fuck with you. But you have to be very careful about this. It's a little bit of a dance you have to do. If you ignore the dance, they're just going to nuke you.
I'd still say it's bullshit, but there were things already in place in California, so I get where you're coming from. Mm-hmm. Like, you know me, Mr. Libertarian, like, it's his property. Let him put whatever the fuck he wants on it. It's not hurting anyone.
Don't go full Texas with this. Then you're going to have some guy who just covers his entire property with golden dildos that everyone can see from like 18 miles away.
Okay, it's his property. Let him do it.
No, it's gross. Fuck off.
Oh, well, you don't come on my fucking property then when I cover it in golden dildos.
Man, when you bought that piece of property, there was a stipulation in the contract that said that the state of California could do this stuff, and everybody knows it. So, like, you can't even make the property rights argument because it's built into your deeds and your leases.
And that's a big reason I'm never gonna move to California.
That's fine. That's fine. Look, everything worked fine so long as everyone understood the golden rule of California, which was be chill and don't be an asshole. That was it. It was that simple. And then some people showed up and they couldn't stop being assholes. Now we're completely overrun with assholes. They just can't stop. All they had to do was be chill and not be assholes, but they keep getting up in each other's business and preventing people from doing stuff. Now, again, the golden dildo thing, I feel like that crosses the asshole line. You know, just like chill. Now, I'm not saying you can't build something. You build something there, right? So like people, for example, they got like a little wine orchard in that area, people will do that. And that's a terrible place to build a wine orchard. It's not like you're growing a lot of wine there or good wine. It's some rich guy who's like, I don't know, it's a hill. I don't know what to do with this. So they just like put a bunch of grape, of a vineyard in the ground. And if he wants to do that, that's fine. It's not offensive. It's not going to bother anybody. It has no, underlying meaning to it. And it's even good for the environment. It's doing soil retention and whatever. That's fine. If you start covering the whole thing with like your fucking Toyota Prius bumper stickers, it's going to rapidly turn the Sepulveda Pass, which is exactly where that was. That was in the Sepulveda Pass. It's going to turn that entire thing into a grotesque sea of like, believe this is my religion, this politician, I like Pokemon. It's just going to turn in all this stuff, and it's gross. I don't want it. Fuck it.
Then buy the property. Like, you should have bought it first. It's their property. They should be allowed to do what they want. But as far as the assholes go, I think this guy takes the cake. How blind do you have to be to not realize what you're doing? So I'll speak the Ken Bone part. You can do the Palmer report. Ken Bone says, all morning, the Trump supporters have been nice to me, even though I don't like Trump. The Biden camp has been shitting all over me because I don't like Biden. Do these people really not see how much this behavior pushes bystanders towards the right?
That's because Trump supporters are horrible people, and they recognize that you're a horrible person. They're congratulating you on being the kind of piece of filth that would vote third party in an election like this. Don't you get it? They're celebrating your shittiness.
Oh, the lack of awareness.
I agree, but they're just such zealots that they're not going to see it any other way. It's like talking to a jihadi or something, where you're like, I talked to some some non-jihadis, and they were nice people, and they were saying nice things, and I had a good time. And then the jihadi comes on. He's like, yes, that's because he's trying to convert you to Satan. It's the same thing.
Yeah, it really is. I honestly, if this guy really has, I'm not even sure if this person or whoever it is really has this lack of self-awareness, or if they really genuinely want Trump to win. Because it's people like this is why he won in 2016 and why he's probably going to win in 2020 this year.
Imagine if you were in a place where everybody's like that.
Kill me now.
Yeah, so I'm in a place right now where about half the people are like that. It's about half. And you don't know who they are, because everybody has to be very careful, because you don't know which one of these people is going to immediately start foaming at the mouth and charge at you with a fucking knife. So everybody tries to be a little on the down low to prevent themselves from getting knifed by basically the progressive jihadis.
That's a combination of words. The progressive jihadis. That's funny. Metal did point out something. He said, can we please notice that this is a verified fucking account?
They're both verified accounts.
Yeah, but I mean, Ken's not being a piece of shit.
Oh yeah, Twitter doesn't care if people with verified accounts are pieces of shit.
Yeah. I find that hilarious, and a lot of the responses too are just like, wow, buddy, you really proved his point. Speaking of idiots, though, here's one of my favorites.
Yeah, my favorite thing with her is that she has a certain amount of dialogue she goes on camera with,
mm-hmm.
and she never has enough. It's a problem. What she needs is more writers or harder working writers, because she doesn't have a big enough script. When she runs out of things to say, she just starts saying things. And then very rapidly she goes like off the deep end in about 7 seconds. Just...
What, you think this is one of those instances?
Yep, I guarantee it.
I don't know. So I don't know for sure. As I've said when I pointed this out to you, the one commie I know that I debate with,
yep,
he said this exact same point, and this was like a year or 2 years ago. Yeah, and I honestly did not know that school lunch program actually came from the Richard B. Russell National School Lunch Act, which was in 1946.
Yeah.
So if he ever brings it up again, I have ammunition I can just load right in there.
Yeah, so there are a lot of people that are claiming that the Black Panthers did something in 1969, which, look, one thing you could probably credit the Black Panthers with, if you want, I mean, to be fair, which I think is important, is that they were advocating for it. And their contribution probably did inspire some of that legislation to happen sooner, so that's fair. Were they the inception? No.
Definitely not.
No.
That's right, Metal. They did a lot. Most of it was running around with guns.
Yeah. No, the a lot of the anti-gun legislation was actually written. Their activity is largely responsible for a lot of the gun control legislation we have in this country, because I don't know, a lot of people saw angry black people running around with guns and they thought, okay, they need to not have those. I generally don't agree with that sentiment. I think.
Yeah, I don't agree with that either. I think they were fine for that portion of things, and I do think they probably did help out with school lunches and help buy school lunch shit for like a certain community they were in, but other than that, like, I would have to completely disavow everything that I've heard that they've done.
I generally don't mind them, because I'm not a libertarian, but I'm a fan of people exercising their right to associate how they like. So if you want to hang out with certain people, you don't want to hang out with other people, that's fine, and I'm happy to accept that, even up to like a racial level. So for example, if you're a bunch of black people, you don't want to hang out with anybody that isn't black. It's a free country, man. I'm not going to tell you what you're going to do. That of course then creates some civil rights issues where you're going to get some white people who are going to say they don't want to hang out with anybody who's white, and you'd have to accept that. But however people want to go with that, it's not going to be one and not the other, though. It's got to be people can segregate or they can't. So one of the things that we're seeing a lot of these days is, particularly, I mean, obviously the universities are just lousy with this, is these racially segregated eating areas. It's like the new woke idea that they have. So I generally I don't have a problem with that, but only if that's like a rule that anybody can do that. If Group X can't do that, then neither can Group Y.
Yeah, exactly.
It's this protected class thing that they're playing around with, that is very abusable.
Yeah, I gotta love how the left has gone full circle, like right back to Jim Crow laws. This is the new woke progressive thing to do.
Yeah. Oh, it's worse than that, because ultimately the socialism stuff, in my opinion, leads to neo-feudalism to a certain extent, because you get all this stuff from the government, right? You get a job from the government, right? You don't we're not owning property anymore because we're all owning things communally.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what a peasant had. You know, so you're sitting there like growing your stupid radishes or whatever. You don't own anything. The nobility provide things for you. Is there a problem with food this year? Oh, well, your liege lord has provided you additional wheat. Congratulations. So you got that. He also do you know they're talking about how like internet access is a human right and stuff like that. Well, in medieval times, beer was basically a human right.
I can't really argue that one.
Yeah, it was, or it was like hard cider. I think it was hard cider. So every one of these little farming communities with the tenant farmers, there would be this this big alcohol brewing operation that would be run at some level by the noble landlord, and they made a point of having shitloads of booze, and they tried to make it pretty tasty, at least to the extent that it was reasonable to do so. And it was your little reward there. There you go into the fields and work yourself to death like a little farm animal, and then I'm going to give you some beer. What do you think about that? And that's
a motivating factor,
right? Well, because they talk about the government's going to take care of us. Well, who the fuck are they? And it's like, oh well, it's going to be Hillary Clinton and the Podesta's fucking children in the castle on the hill, and it's like, okay, fantastic. I know I'm going to drop the QAnon thing because we talked about it, but but that's all it is. So at a certain point, it strikes me as just kind of neo-feudalism. So yeah.
One thing I love to point out when it comes to arguing with socialists is that, all right, you want socialized healthcare, right? Socialized healthcare is a human right? Healthcare, medicine, human right? So, how do you determine who gets bionic hands?
Mm-hmm.
We don't have the resources to give every amputee bionic hands.
Oh no. No, the Podestas will decide.
Yeah, of course. Have liege lord decide.
Exactly. The liege lord makes the decision. So you're going to have some people in the government that just make these decisions. And understand, whatever they're doing, it's in the community's interest. And really, it's the best decision for everybody that it be this way. We deliberated the issue. We had the best people talk about it. And this is just the best compromise. It's just to stop arguing. This is for the best.
Listen, this guy over here is more productive to society, and he needs your liver. Just sit down. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. And he's got a much higher social credit score.
Yeah. Speaking of what's really good for society, that I am just so happy that they implemented.
Oh.
Yelp will now allow you to rate company's racism.
This is such a mistake. This is such a giant shit show. So if they actually, I don't think they've rated anyone yet as a racist, like literally no one. So there's like some guy in Alabama who, I don't know, drops an N-bomb to literally every customer, and it has like a Confederate battle flag on the front of his, and Yelp hasn't given him that tag yet. So I don't think they've given it to anybody. But the instant they start actually doing this, it's going to be a defamation lawsuit in about 7 seconds.
I honestly, if the woke progressives are the ones who are in charge of what is considered racist and what's not, can I please just see a list of the racist companies so I can go to them? Because they're going to pick the Trump supporters. Like, oh, I saw a MAGA 2020 fucking hat in there. It's racist.
Sure, or the Southern Poverty Law Center's list. That's a possibility, something they could do. They could say, well, what we did was we just accepted on good faith anything the Southern Poverty Law Center said. And they had that ridiculous discrimination map that they were promoting a couple years ago. and it was crazy. They were nailing a whole bunch of like Jewish synagogues and like little Christian groups and all kinds of stuff. And it was like, oh well, there's not enough like gay people running this church, so they need gay people. It was like, what? That's not how that works.
Isn't Sargon on there as a hateful person? I'm pretty sure he is.
Probably. They got in a lot of trouble for that, and their credibility prior to that was a lot higher. They've actually that really damaged the Southern Poverty Law Center. They used to be taken more seriously, but after they pushed that map, everyone was like, "Whoa, you guys have lost the plot." So.
Yeah. I mean, the moment I heard about the SPLC, Sargon was mentioning being on it, and I was kind of like, wow, that must be really cool to be on that because they're fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Speaking of people who've lost the plot, though.
I mean, they also have like KKK people and like people that are legitimately pretty racist. But the thing is that they don't filter. So it's like if I put the entire fucking phone book on something, it's like, yeah, sure, it's got good people, it's got some bad people in there, but you grab the rest of the goddamn city.
Yeah.
Doesn't work. Wait, this is not fucking Gomorrah, pal. What are you doing?
Well, speaking of people that have lost the plot, though, I'm sure you recall the thwarted kidnapping and attempted trial of Governor Whitmer.
Oh yeah,
by the Trump supporters, the far right neo-Nazi militia,
right?
Who happened to have anarchist symbols in all of their videos.
Yeah, they also that's the same guy, but the
he's one of the leaders.
There's a bunch of them.
Leaders.
A bunch of them are doing the same thing. I don't know if this guy's a leader. He's a prominent member. I'll give you that. But they seem to be anarchists. Not. I mean, they say they don't like the Republicans. They say they don't like Trump. So it's hard to say that they're inspired by Trump. They don't like him. And if anything, they're flashing around. They're like. Their edgy political opinions. You know, when's the last time you saw anybody using an anarchist symbol seriously? Literally high school.
That was the last time I used one seriously.
Yeah, that's where you see people do that. You see like a bunch of like little emo kids popping these things around, and you laugh at them because they go to Hot Topic and they buy their vampire clothing, and. You know, and so this guy, I don't know what he is. He's like 35, 40, and he's got his little Hot Topic fucking political flag back there, and it's hilarious. Like, who the fuck do you think you are, pal? What is this? And he's sitting there like, anyone who works for the government is your enemy.
Yeah, by participating in the government, you're participating in slavery.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you this over the internet, over a global telecommunications network. That's powered by a national power grid. And I'm going to tell you how organization is evil. Retard.
Yeah.
Like, just get your little fucking Vans on and go for a walk and hand out, I guess, I don't know, like flyers written on leaves. Do that. If you really are an anarchist. Stop relying on literally everything that wouldn't work if you were in charge. Because you wouldn't even have fucking paper. Paper comes from a paper mill.
Yeah, and who's going to run a paper mill if there's no one to pay them?
Yeah.
Or there's no benefit of it, you know?
There's no paper mill. So now it's going to be you going in the backyard with a bunch of leaves that you're going to mash up with a rock, and then you're going to put like a flat piece of wood or something on top of that to push that down flat. And then you're going to draw on that with, I don't know, a piece of charcoal or something from the fire. And then you're going to lift that up after it's dried. And then it's, of course, going to fall apart because it's bullshit. Like, has anyone actually ever made paper?
I
Ugh.
have not actually made paper.
Oh man,
I relatively know the process.
Ugh. Let me tell you, if you actually had to do it, the quality of the paper you would be making would be
awful.
horrific. It would, it would be more like a brick of paper than it would be a piece of paper, because it would have to be pretty thick to just not fall apart.
And when you would try to erase, you would pull off bits of the paper.
Yeah, it would be awful. It would be falling apart. It would have these giant chunks. Because that's the other thing they do in a paper mill. They blend everything up with some big machine.
Mm-hmm.
Have fun doing that with your leaves, pal. You're fucked.
Yeah, and yeah, like you said, they use chemicals to make it sturdier and to get all the coloring out of it and everything.
Yeah,
paper mills stink.
Mm-hmm.
Like for miles. Well, maybe not miles. Maybe like a mile, maybe 2 miles.
Yeah.
They reek. They have a very strong odor.
Yeah. No.
So these last two sources are ones that you shared, and I did get a feel good this time. I got that ahead of time.
Oh.
So I didn't really get a chance to go over these last two in depth.
Yeah.
So
apparently, it's just a recurring story of the season. I mean, it's just these absentee ballots keep getting just found places, and the likely cause of this is that there's vote harvesting going on. So when we talked about vote harvesting before, I don't know. I'm having a Joe Biden moment. I don't remember whether we did.
We may have discussed what Project Veritas came up with in Elon Omar's district.
Yeah, so it's happening nationally, and so what's happening is you're getting political activists going around, and we're all comfortable roughly with these people knocking on doors and saying, "Hi, I'm here on behalf of whatever politician I want to talk." You know, we're all comfortable with that. That's fine. And then that evolved into, oh, by the way, I also have a card here for you to register to vote, and everyone was okay with that as well. And then they said, okay, I have an absentee ballot that I can hand you after I've registered you to vote. And then they said, and I will take it to the mailbox for you. And the problem is that once you hand them the ballot like that, there is an opportunity for them to do a variety of things to that ballot. One thing they can do is they can take it to their van, and they can steam open the ballot, and they can because it's not hard to open an envelope, guys. It really isn't. They literally just open really easy.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I've got envelopes that have been sitting there for a long time, and they're already sticking together. And if you're gentle with it, a lot of them you can just open right up, or you could do the steam technique.
Yeah, with the steam thing,
they just don't even fucking stick anymore.
Yeah, with steam they just open up real easy. And then what
you melt that adhesive
is you can swap out the ballot with another ballot, so you can change somebody's vote. Alternatively, what you can do is you can go to all the places where you think people are going to vote against your candidate, and you can collect their votes and then throw them out. Exactly. And so, or let's say you're going to a place where you think people are going to vote for your candidate. So, you get like 20 votes for, I don't know, your candidate, whoever that is. And then you get maybe 5 or 6 votes, and you're pretty sure that that person actually didn't vote for your candidate. Well, I'm going to keep those ballots in like a different pile. And when I'm done for the day, those ballots go in the trash. And that is probably what's going on, is you're getting ballot harvesting, and what somebody is doing is they're just throwing out the ballots that they are pretty sure are voting against their candidate.
Yeah, I 100% believe that. I can't remember who it was. It's gonna bug me. I heard in a source the one guy who said the easiest way to cheat with mail-in ballots is the ballots are really easy to replicate. All you got to do, you put them in the scanner, and then you just print them off. It's the envelopes that are the hard part, like you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
So you get the envelopes, you use the steam to get the vote out, and then you stick your vote in, seal it back up, and send it in.
Yep. So that's likely occurring. However, something that's a little interesting, and we won't know it's really occurred until we've tried to count the votes, but it's looking like a lot of the ballots are getting disqualified already. So if we can presume that statistically the Democrats are more likely to have voted by mail, and the rejection rate of mail-in ballots is higher than in-person ballots, then that's likely creating a negative bias against Democrat votes, which is entirely self-inflicted. Like, there's no bad faith in ballots getting discarded in this manner, because what's happening is there's a bunch of rules that say your ballot has to go into one envelope, and then that envelope has to go into another envelope, and they provide you both the envelopes and they give you the instructions. And what some people will do is they'll just put their ballot in like the first envelope, and the second envelope they kind of look at it and go like, I don't read instructions, and they throw it away. And so when the ballot or the envelope shows up at the polling station, what happens is they open the first envelope in which they expect to find the second envelope, and they instead find the ballot. And the instant that happens, boom, that ballot's dead.
Yeah.
And it goes in the discard pile. And it's, very sorry, very sad, but dead. And so I think there were some states where I was reading that they had already discarded or disqualified 30,000 ballots.
I think
for stuff like this.
I think it was like an astronomical number in New Jersey, something like 80,000.
Yeah,
I'd have to verify that number, but it was high.
Yeah. Now, New Jersey is not a battleground state, so I don't think that 80,000 ballots one way or the other is going to do anything for the Biden v. Trump election in New Jersey. But in some of these states, it's going to be that tight.
Yeah, but if you open the opportunity though for that level of just discarded ballots to go on. Yeah, that means there's that opportunity. That's a possibility around the United States. Like, there's only one reason they're pushing mail-in ballots, and that's so that they can cheat.
I generally agree, although from what I can tell, it looks like it may be backfiring, because again, the rejections are a big deal. So if Republicans for all things being equal, if the Democrats were just cheating and we're doing the mail-in balloting, then that might benefit the Democrats. But if the Republicans just don't do it and they go into the polls in person, and that means their votes are generally not rejected, then that means the Democrats might nullify all their shenanigans just with the ballot rejections. And so that's going to be a big part. Mark my words. I am convinced there's going to be some nasty fucking court battles that are going to come out on election day, where some Democrats are going to contend that ballots are getting tossed out of the polling station on ideological political lines, and that absent that occurring, they might win this election or that election. Which I don't think it's ideological. I think it's just that mode of voting is inclined to get the ballots rejected, because it's very ticky-tacky. Everything has to be just so, or the ballot gets tossed. That's the law. And it's true for the Republicans and Democrats. You fuck your ballot up when you do a mail-in ballot, and it gets tossed.
Personally, what I'm afraid of happening is you're going to see on election day a Trump landslide. And then you're going to see what happened in, I believe, Arizona, where Sinema is. Kirsten Sinema, I think her name is. Yeah. Where the Republican nominee won on election day, and then over the next week they were like, "Oh, hey, we found these mail-in ballots, and we found these mail-in ballots, and we found these mail-in ballots, and they're all for Sinema." Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a concern. So we'll see. The Democrats are calling that the red mirage. And what they're saying is that on election day, expect for Donald Trump to win. But then in the week or so thereafter, for the mail-in ballots to erase those victories. So we'll see what happens. I mean, the Republicans are cognizant of the threat. Whether or not they deal with it in a substantive manner is another question. So it's that's the game that's being played at this point. We'll see.
Yeah, another threat that's going on is with the debates being very horrendously biased towards the Democrats. So Senator Bob Dole tweeted out, the Commission on Presidential Debates is supposedly bipartisan with an equal number of Republicans and Democrats. I know all of the Republicans and most are friends of mine. I'm concerned that none of them support Donald Trump. A biased debate commission is unfair.
Mm-hmm.
Now, even on top of that, you see Mark Dice replied with this next one here. Not to mention the next moderator, Steve Scully, got caught conspiring against Trump and then claimed he was hacked and deleted his account to hide this bias.
That happens to me all the time.
Yeah, me too. Just like this. He tweeted out to Anthony Scaramucci, should I respond to Trump? And a retweet, ignore, he is having a hard enough time, some more bad stuff about to go down. Does Vice President Pence have coronavirus? There are lots of rumblings. Please issue a statement to clear this up if you so feel better and get well soon. Now, I love how it's just immediately like, well, I guess this is unrelated. This is just, yeah, to prove that it was on the timeline, I guess.
Uh-huh.
But yeah. That's fucked up.
Well, you know, here's the thing with Mr. Scully getting hacked. Twitter is actually in a very good position to know whether or not that's true or not.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, they're not going to cooperate, because what they would know is they would know which IP address, and they might even have some additional authentication information that associates with that account. And if that associates with his phone, or it associates with his laptop or something, then the question is going to be, okay, so you're telling me that somebody took control of your cell phone or your laptop? Oh, really? Have you that's awful. So did they have you done anything to clean that up now that that device has been hacked? No? Weird. Because if you actually thought somebody had taken over, had owned your laptop or owned your cell phone, you would immediately do something about that.
Yeah.
But, you know, so when he says, "Oh, I got hacked," I know immediately whether or not you actually think you got hacked by whether or not you will continue to use the same device. If I say I got hacked and you take the same fucking cell phone and go and, I don't know, order a pizza with it. Oh yeah, my credit card number is Yeah, well then you clearly don't think your fucking cell phone was owned, pal. Otherwise, whomever just got your goddamn credit card number. And that's another question. Did he just get just get your Twitter account there? Yeah, and so you know, then they'll say, "Oh well, no, it's they just compromised my account. They didn't take any of my devices." You see, and that's exactly what Twitter would know, because that tweet would have logging information as to which IP address submitted that tweet. It would know, and if that associates with your bullshit, pal. Well then, no, I'm sorry to tell you, Mr. Scully, but it looks like actually your cell phone must have been hacked. You should probably let me just take your cell phone and snap that in half. There you go. Okay, yeah, we don't want you to be unsafe.
Yeah, you can afford a new one.
Yeah, go just go to the cult of Steve Jobs, get yourself another cell phone and get one. So it'll be great. No, it's he's obviously full of shit. It's 100%. it's basically like the boomer hack defense. It's like Hillary Clinton was like, "What do you mean wipe? Fuck off, Hillary."
It's like, it honestly reminds me of that one image I saw years ago where the grandpa just started learning how to use the computer, and he went in Facebook and he thought the like posting stuff was the search bar. And he starts posting shit like hot busty vixens.
Hot.
And he's like, wait, how do I delete this stuff? What? This isn't a search bar? Come on, you've seen that, right?
No.
Oh, wow. I saw an image of it a while back, and I'm sure it's happened more than once.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, what? So, wasn't there something where a guy posted some hentai stuff? I think this was a Never Trump guy. Posted some hentai stuff, and hilariously, he has gone on various networks to talk about how all the Trump supporters are basement dwelling deplorables, and then he accidentally posts some like fucking hentai on his Twitter feed or something like that, and then they were like, sir, what in fact the fuck? And he responded, oh yeah, I was my children asked me what hentai was, and we were looking at it to talk about that with each other. And he said something like that, and it was like, you are so completely fucking full of shit. Are you for real? And he's like, yes, I'm a boomer. I'm quite serious. Quite serious.
Well, speaking of the biased debates, did you watch the vice presidential one?
I did.
I thought it was really good.
It was better than the look. Wallace was being shitty to Trump, but I do think Trump handled the first debate poorly.
He did, yeah. I still think he won, but he handled it very poorly.
Yeah.
And he didn't win by much.
Nah. Biden was saying all kinds of retarded things, there's no question.
Yeah.
But he Trump couldn't capitalize any of it because he was letting Wallace play him. And the thing that made everyone go, ooh, Donald Trump in the first place was that he completely blew Megyn Kelly out of the fucking water the first time she went at him. She was like, oh, Donald Trump, you said all these terrible things about women, blah, 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 blah. And he looks at her just deadpan and goes, only Rosie O'Donnell. And the entire fucking crowd just laughed their dicks off. It was great. So that's what we expect from Donald Trump. He has to play that way. That's his level. And if he goes in there and he lets Chris Wallace punk him, then then he is losing. He has to go in there and he has to win. Fuck Biden. Biden self-destructs if you just let him talk. But he had to deal with Chris Wallace, and so Trump failed, in my opinion, in the first debate.
Honestly, I think the debate versus Trump and Wallace went very well. I don't know what that old man in the background was rambling about, but
no, that's absolutely what it was. Except for I think ultimately, I think Chris Wallace won that debate. Yeah, I mean he had an unfair advantage, but that's the game. This is one of the things I think a lot of people need to get over. People keep asking for fairness. World ain't fair. I'm sorry, that's not the game. It's not about fair. It's about understanding what you're going to have to deal with and overcoming. So if you go in there and you know what fucking Wallace is, the Trump campaign should have seen Wallace coming. Wallace has been shitty in Trump interviews for years at this point. So yeah, this guy's like, oh yeah, I'm going to moderate your debate. Okay, you have to know what he's going to do. And so the fact that they weren't prepared for Wallace, that was a major problem, and it made Trump look bad. And I mean, this is in no sense an advocacy for Biden in any sense. Biden is a disaster, but you have to be able to deal with the media, and if you can't do that, then you're in the wrong seat. Sorry.
Usually, he does deal with the media just fine.
Mm-hmm.
However, the vice presidential debate, perfection, and I think it has a lot more to do with what really is going to be, because let's face it, it is not a presidential run between Trump and Biden. It's a presidential run between Trump and Kamala.
Well, there's that, but I mean, I think part of what's happened is he's gotten a little used to the White House press briefings, where when some Jim Acosta or whatever decides to be obnoxious, Trump can just go, okay, Jim, that's fantastic, shut up, and he can go on to the next person. But you can't do that with Chris Wallace when he's the moderator of the debate. You can't tell him to fuck off. He's there all night.
The one thing that really annoyed the hell out of me is they were like, will you condemn white supremacy? Sure. Which right there is a condemnation of white supremacy, right? Mm-hmm. He did it 3 times that night, and they were like, he didn't condemn white supremacy.
Sure.
And it all comes right down to they want him to do it every hour, on the hour of every day, with the same intensity as an SJW reading about his fucking...
Will you now finally condemn pedophilia?
Sure.
Okay, but will you actually condemn pedophilia?
Of course.
Will you today?
Yeah.
Many of our viewers have asked, will you condemn pedophilia?
I think pedophiles should get the blood eagle.
Boy. Yeah, so I mean they just keep asking the question because what it lets them do is it lets them make an accusation by asking a question. And that's really what they want to do. They're like,
yeah.
It's like if I was saying that, it suggests that Universe Man over here has sex with children.
That would be the implication.
That would be the implication that I'd be making repeatedly.
Hmm. Yeah, pedophiles are the worst. Condemn warning labels protecting stupid people. So the vice presidential debate, though, was amazing. Like I said, I absolutely loved how Kamala not only did not answer a single fucking question, she lied about everything. Well, most things.
Yeah.
And Pence just he was kicking the shit out of her. I've never seen a woman get the crap beat out of her so bad on live TV before.
Well, that's why they've gone to the mansplaining defense.
Yeah, because they have nothing.
Well, it's also a really pathetic dodge because what it's suggesting is that Camilla, as she has a vagina, requires a handicap because she's handicapped by her vagina.
Yeah, clearly.
If it were a man, then that'd be fine. But because she's a woman, she has to be protected because, though she is running for vice president and would become president in the event of the inevitable Biden, stepping down, whatever we want to call that. She wants to be treated like she's a disabled person. Oh, you can't come after me like that. I'm stupid. Because that's ultimately what these special protections are for people. If you're going into the big league, you tell me I can't go hard on you? Really? Because that's not what being big league is.
How many times to the minors?
Well, yeah. If you want to be protected, go back to the kiddie pool.
Yeah.
So you tell me, it's mansplaining if you kick my ass in a debate? Fuck off. Yeah, so no, I agree. Camilla got her world rocked by Pence. Well, I don't know. What's Johnny Quest's fucking manservant called? He's always used in the memes for Pence. No.
Oh, Bruce Banner.
Is it Bruce Banner? No, isn't that the Hulk guy?
It's
Dr.
Racer,
Banner.
Something Racer.
Yeah. Something like that. Anyway, it's the Johnny Quest memes. You know what I'm talking about. But anyway, yeah, that guy absolutely let Camilla ride the lightning.
Roger T. Race Bannon.
Yeah, his name is too long.
Yeah, it was just Race. That's what they called him, or Race Bannon.
Oh, it's even better. Race destroyed Camilla. Yeah.
Especially when he kept hammering. Are you gonna pack the judges if you win?
Oh yeah, that's amazing. that both of them are sitting there going like, well, we'll find out when you elect us.
Yeah.
That is fucking horrifying.
It really is.
I mean, here's a big part of that is that they know that a portion of the people that may vote for them will not vote for them if they say they will pack the court.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they do want to pack the court. And I think that they think that, okay, if I say I won't pack the court, then I get elected and I do it anyway. That might become a problem too. So the way of kind of threading the needle is to say, I don't know, I may or I may not. Which
it's the same thing with the Antifa question.
Mm-hmm.
Will you condemn Antifa? I don't think Antifa exists.
Right. No, it's pretty crazy. So, and it's offensive also to the voters because let's say you are someone who wants to vote for Biden,
mm-hmm.
but you also don't want the courts packed. So what this is doing is it's relying on your gullibility. Like you're going to keep voting for him, even though you wouldn't if he said he was going to pack the courts, because he didn't say he was going to. He said we'll find out later when you don't have a choice anymore.
Even though he's going to.
I mean, I think he's going to, but the theoretical low information voter in this case might be fooled by that.
It's not that I think he's going to. I know he's going to. Otherwise, he'd say, "No, I'm not going to pack the courts."
I agree. But why then wouldn't he just say, "I'm going to do it"? Well, because he's trying to confuse some person out there.
Yeah, and it's a dumb tactic.
Yeah. Well, but that's what he thinks of his voters. You are this dumb.
That reminds me of the one image. Man, let's see if I can pull it up real quick.
I like that metal murderer, Roger T. Race baiting.
Yeah,
that's a good one. I like it.
Damn it! Come on, I know that
stream needs conflict, Johnny. Well, why don't you come on here and fight me?
Yeah, do you won't?
Yeah. Little bitch.
All right, yeah, I found it. So I'm pretty sure this isn't real, but hey, I can dream, Harold.
I don't know. See, here's something that makes me think this might be real. I have to look this up. Have I told you guys about Sabo? Is anybody familiar with Sabo?
The name sounds familiar.
Yeah, so Sabo is a conservative, or I don't know, whatever, street artist in Los Angeles, and he is known to change billboards and bus signs and all kinds of stuff like that all around town. I don't know how he avoids going to jail, because it seems pretty clear cut vandalism of private property. But he demonstrably doesn't go to jail for it somehow, and he puts these real zinger things all over town.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Wait. So conflict means we've got to have the fascists on, and like legit, like not the meme fascists, but the actual guy that wants to gas the Jews. That's what you want?
I mean, early on, I had that guy on a few times. Like, yeah. I don't have a problem with having people I disagree with on.
You know what I want to talk to you about, Johnny? I want to talk to you about Sorelian syndicalism. Why don't you do that? You want to come on here and talk about Sorelian syndicalism, aka what fascism was initially? We can talk about that, and then that's going to connect to Marxism. It's going to be really good. And then ultimately you're going to be arguing for Marxism. and then I'm going to connect that to Hegelianism. Oh my God, German philosophy is so cringe. You're going to fucking blow your brains out. It'll be amazing. And then I don't know. After that, we might have to roll it back into Hermeticism, because German philosophy. Are you sure, man? Are you sure? I am erect and ready to go. You want this conflict? I've got this conflict right here.
I feel conflicted about this conflict, so I think it might be time for the feel-good story. Scientists have discovered a new way to save endangered baby sea turtles using GPS. Look at that cute little turtle.
Oh my God.
Thing's tiny.
Like, oh my God. He is edible. We should eat those.
So basically what they're doing is they're 3D printing decoy sea turtle eggs.
Oh, wow.
That have GPSs in them to find out who's stealing them.
Oh.
And that's how they're saving it. Yeah.
Like, okay. Okay, so that's going to be seabirds and or the ocean.
Now, there are people that steal
oh, really?
Sea turtle eggs.
Is that what's happening? Someone's just coming by with a shovel?
Yeah, there's a legal trade of the eggs. So like you find them in markets, I assume probably in Mexico.
And they're fooled by GPS
3D printed
eggs?
ones. Yeah.
Oh.
I imagine they're pretty decent copies. I mean, you don't see any, but I assume that they look like a quarter of the fake eggs were taken illegally from the nests, allowing the researchers to track eggs from 5 clutches, including 2 green turtle nests and 3 olive ridley nests. Now, I'm assuming the people that are doing this are actual, like, full-on diploma conservationists, you know? Like, they have...
right. And I presume the people that are jacking the nests are full-on poachers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now you just got to crack one open first, Johnny Depp says.
God, it is rough. Look at the little turtle. He is so edible. You just pop it right in your mouth and swallow right in there.
Hey, if you're cold, they're cold. Put them in your mouth. I saw that as a meme for the roly-polies.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like someone sent that as a message in a text message thing in this, and they're like, this is why no one talks to you.
Well, this is probably something where you probably have to relocate some of the eggs into a beach that is being watched.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where it really no one goes there except for the conservationists, and they have guns.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be fine with that.
And then I don't know. I guess you have to shoot all the seagulls in the face too.
Well, that's just the natural order of things, is to let the seagulls do their thing, you know?
No, they stole my French fries, Uni.
Well, don't give them your French fries. It's very easy to keep seagulls from your French fries.
Look, they have the ability to steal my French fries, and I have a shotgun. Okay, this is the natural order. So
you also have fists. Why don't you beat them off?
I have kicked a seagull directly in the face. It was very satisfying. It stole. I had some calamari, and the little fucking seagull came in and ganked some of my calamari, and I was like, no, you don't.
You just kicked him in the head.
Oh yeah. No, there's never any mercy for seagulls or geese. Geese are crazy too.
Vicious.
So, oh my God. So like when they get into their little mating frenzy, they'll descend on some lake somewhere and go absolutely crazy on it. And they have these like these dicks that they grow and then detach at the end of the mating season. So they leave their discarded penises all over the banks of the lake, like there was a giant orgy, and they look like basically discarded like duck condoms, and it's so nasty. And they're everywhere, and in the midst of this, they're so mean. So you're like a little kid, and you're going down to go to the lake. And there's a bunch of geese there, and you're like, oh, hi there, geese. And then the geese are like, die, child, and they go and they charge you, you know, with their little detachable dicks on, and they try and claw the fuck out of you. So that I had some experiences with that as a child, and at this point, yeah, no, they mess with me, and it's a boot directly to the face.
Yeah, and I'd just like to state that we at the Weekly Aneurysm do not condone kicking animals in the face unless they have it coming.
Yes, which geese inherently do.
Yes. Well, I mean,
and
especially
seagulls.
Canadian geese. They're assholes.
Yeah. Seagulls that have stolen your French fries and or calamari absolutely have it coming. That is theft.
Yeah. So on that note, I think this is a good time to end the stream. We won't be back next week, but we'll be back the week after. It's going to be bi-weekly through the rest of October. So that would be the 23rd is the next time we will be meeting. That'd be 23rd at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So what was our thing where we were doing the whole Wayne and Clark?
But you keep wanting like a sign off. Not gonna
be good to each other.
Yeah, jazz hands. How about that?